I did a bunch of Appaloosa horses for a man named Carl Miles, who at that time had probably the biggest and the best known herd of Appaloosa horses in the country. We did very, very well with them. You get an 80 or 90, 80 plus % conception rate and full survival rate, which is very, very good. Well, I thought the key to breeding a good horse was, number one, having, quote, what you think are good horses to start with, take good care of them, and then get lucky. Because that's 95% of the horse business is good luck and having the good sense to recognize it when it's happening to you.
A stallion is really a freak of nature. A stallion that will outproduce himself is really a freak. We were starting a breeding operation in 1978 and needed somebody with that expertise.
Buster Welch, who was a quarter horse trainer, had become associated with King Ranch a couple of years before.
He was showing a stallion by the name of Mr. Sanpepe. And Mr. Sanpepe, he was campaigning him for world champion. And Mr. Sanpepe won the world in 1974. We bought Mr. Sanpepe in 1975. But what we needed to get this accomplished was a veterinarian. We needed somebody to breed these outside mares and to really organize our breeding program. And Buster said, well, I know of a veterinarian in Abilene, Texas. And he is a great individual, and let me call him.
And he said, asked me if I'd be interested in coming down to visit King Ranch and look at their quarter horse operation. I told him that I was really busy and I was kind of catching up after having been gone, and I really didn't think I was very interested in it. And I said, in fact, I remember telling him, I said, I was gone for about 10 days. My clients are mad at me. My wife was mad at me because she didn't get to go to France with me. And Buster said, well, you know, of course, he was a terrific people person as well as a good horse trainer. And Buster said, well, he said, you know, why don't you come down here and spend the weekend, and we'll send the airplane for you and take you home in the airplane, and maybe you can get back on your wife's good side. So we went to see King Ranch, and while we were there, they offered me the opportunity to come down there and go to work for them.
John said, I think this is something I'd like to do, but it's got to be approved by Jameen. She's got to bless the deal. King Ranch had a Cessna Citation jet, and I was on that plane, and they flew me from Amarillo to Abilene, pulled up, and John said when that jet pulled up, Jameen got on that jet, she was sold. She said she could do that.
As I said, I went to work down there on the 28th of December 1978 and stayed until 2008.
We had nothing until John came, and John really developed our breeding technology. He developed the ways we tease the mares, how we tease the mares, and so he was the entire quarter horse breeding program.
There was very, very good stock, and they were, of course, they were breeding ranch horses for use on the ranch. At that time, they probably had about 400 saddle horses on the ranch.
We went through every brood mare, and we selected the top 200 out of all of the brood mares. And we said, this is going to be our nucleus.
And did a big AI program, artificial insemination program.
We wanted to freeze some of Mr. Sanpepe's semen as an insurance policy. If something happened to him, we would have some semen in storage that we could rely on. But apparently, when you freeze horse semen, there's not as many live sperm that survive the freezing process. So the percentages of pregnancies that you were getting out of frozen semen might have been 40 or 50%. And then the industry was developing what they called cool semen. It changed the entire industry, where instead of having to have a stallion or brood mares come to Kingsville, Texas, we were able to collect the stallion, cool the semen down, and send it to Michigan, send it to California, send it to Arizona, wherever the brood mares were that wanted to breed to the stallions we had. So it revolutionized the industry, and John was right in the forefront of that change in the era.
And we started breeding mares for the general public and charging a sizable breeding fee for them.
I think it was over 2,500 registered foals by Mr. Sanpepe that are out in the industry right now.
Oh, we raised the level of these particular ranch horses or cutting horses by quite a bit, certainly.
When people came to the ranch and were looking at horses and cattle, they expected to see John Toelkes. I mean, he was just part of the personality of King Ranch. John really took care of the people that he worked with. They loved him. All of the employees thought John was so kind. He really looked after his people. He was one of the employees. He was a Quinenio. He was really one of the people, and John took care of him. He went to funerals. He went to weddings. You know, he was very close to the people, and Jameen was right alongside. And I'd like to get Janelle on a little bit of the tape to talk about Jameen, because she was a special lady.
There wasn't anything that Jameen couldn't do. And basically there wasn't anybody associated with the ranch or the community that Jameen didn't touch their lives. She had that southern charm that basically brought everyone into the fold.
She came in and helped in anything that needed to be done. If it was an event that King Ranch was doing, she was right in the front of it.
We first did self-guided tours, and then we decided that for $6 a person we would do guided tours, and we started having docents on the tours. Jameen was the first docent, and Jameen was involved in the writing and the guiding and the setting up of all of those tours.
She never met a stranger. She loved the people around her.
I was working on the restoration of downtown because the downtown was just deteriorating so fast. We basically were trying to create that industry to save the downtown. And Jameen helped with all of that. And Jameen and John were so loyal to the ranch. They lived it like we did.
John wore the running W very proudly, and he was a terrific advocate of the ranch, and went about it very humbly.
I feel that it was very much a team situation, and I would not have been successful had they not helped me. And as a result, I think as a member of that team and what we did for those 13 or 14 years, I just think I just was a valuable part of that team, and we did it. That's the way I feel about it.